We're going to have a two-part presentation this morning. The first part is going to be call team and primarily the congregational profile. We're going to update you a little bit on where the call team's at, but more importantly, we're going to share with you the congregational profile for two reasons. One, it's always fun to go back and look at who we think we are. And you can imagine as a call team, when you're trying to call a pastor, you sort of want to be able to tell them who you are, because they really want to know who you are before they say yes. So you'll see what we've shared and what we are sharing with any prospective candidates. And then we're going to take a pause. Kieran Misterik's going to read the actual gospel reading for today. And then I'm going to do a short sermon on that. And I say I'm going to do a short sermon because when I met with Peter before he hightailed it off to Mongolia, he admitted, this is a really light reading. I mean, there just isn't a lot in it this particular time. It's not very deep. So my job is going to be to pick out 2 or 3 things that aren't very deep with that. So with that, let's get started. Call team members, I know you all remember that. You can recite that by name because you're praying for us each and every day. Some of you are shaking your heads yes, some of you are going, I have no idea with that. But Ron, Amanda, Hannah, by the way, Hannah's on her way to India right now. Mr. Sims, Mr. Schmitz, our worship leader today, Triel, and of course, myself. Call team was formed on June 20th. We've had regular meetings. Usually you can find us either at the Cup or over at the library, 4:30 on Thursdays. And we've had a bunch of regular meetings, and it's time for a few more. Progress to date, we started off with both the listening session that was led by the elders and then the questionnaire that we sent out to the congregation, and we're going to summarize some of those. We had a fun time. We interviewed Pastor Peter. Now, why would we interview Pastor Peter? Well, who better to tell us what the call experience looks like as you go through it all? And he had some great insights. He also shared with us all the notes and paperwork and everything that he had from the call experience, which was pretty interesting with that and very helpful. And I think it really helped us set the foundation for what we're all about. The next thing we did is create documents, job descriptions, congregational profile, application, and job posting. And one of the first things that we learned in this discussion amongst the 7 of us is there are some generational differences. There's some strong feelings about the generational differences with regards to, and one of the fun discussions that we had, and I guess we settled it, Triel will speak up if we didn't, is the fact that do you post what the expected salary is in a job description? Oh, yeah, well, Amanda's saying yes. I know she's going to say yes, but it was 50-50. Some people say yes, some people say no. It was just interesting, and it was very generational. Those of us that are past the working age say, no, you're not doing it for the money. And those that were a little bit younger say, oh, wait a minute, I don't do anything until I know what the money is. So, and I'm paraphrasing, and you can speak to them afterwards. We have documents from 4 candidates that were identified internally. And by internally, what I mean is the job posting hadn't been made yet, and yet they were made known to us that they might be interested. So, and I think we actually have applications returned on 3 of those 4 already. So we'll be ready to start to dig in and see what that's all about. And our goal was to have the job posted on the job boards by today. So if it wasn't not today, it'll be tomorrow with that, or maybe Tuesday, because tomorrow's a holiday. Listening sessions. I kind of summarized this. We heard a lot of things, but some of the things we heard, support for expository preaching. People like the teaching method of Peter's, and they encourage us to consider that. Recognize that we're a little bit light on younger families, and we are. You'll see that in a minute. Worship style was important to a lot of the people answering and a lot of the comments. children youth program was emphasized. There were a lot of comments about making sure that we acknowledge women in leadership roles. And then finally, characteristics of a new pastor: integrity, humble, pastoral heart, experience, and Peter likes country music. With that, so, somebody gave me this as knowing that we were on the call team. And if you can't read it, it says basically what we're looking for is an innovative pastor with a fresh vision who will inspire our church to remain exactly the same. With that, let's go to the congregational profile. That's what you all came here this morning wondering and waiting and just anxious for. So here we go. The congregational profile looks at these various aspects: the demographics and finances, community description, who is One Hope Church, vision and goals, ministries in action, leadership structure, strengths and weaknesses. I'm not going to do leadership structure because it's kind of boring to us. We know what it is. But I will touch on some of the others. Demographics. What do you know about these demographics? The blue line is where we were in 2012. The orange line is where we are today. Hey, Mike, I'll send you the whole PowerPoint. He's back there taking a picture with that. What do you notice? Okay, you can kind of take the church and just go 12 years later. Again, now, that's not really true. We've had change in membership, but we haven't had a great change in the demographics. We've just gotten older with that. And that's kind of what anybody who's looking at One Hope Church is going to see. And with that. Finances for the last 6 years. People who are applying want to know, is this church financially stable? And the answer is, first of all, yes, we're very financially stable. One of the things I want to point out is 2020, as I'm looking back at this, and we haven't talked about this, in 2021, the elders asked us to put an additional $20,000 in addition to the normal $27,000, $28,000 that we have in benevolence, because we had a large cash surplus. Now, why did we have a large cash surplus? It's called pandemic, and it's called we weren't paying rent. And we were still being very generous and giving very faithfully, which we want to continue to do, don't stop. And therefore, we had a large cash surplus, so we gave it away. And that is one of the attributes of One Hope Church. We like to bless other people if we can. I'm not going to spend any time. You all know what Gig Harbor is. A couple things I will note with Gig Harbor in looking at this. Anybody want to guess how many churches there are in Gig Harbor? Jan says a lot. My wife says 30 because she already knows I'm going to say 32. That's cheating. But the answer is 32. Okay? So Gig Harbor, if you look at the general area, well, the actual city of Gig Harbor right now has a population of about 12,000. There's probably closer to 40,000 in the general Gig Harbor area. If you look kind of the Pierce County, Kitsap County, this side of the bridge stuff. So beautiful place to live. I think everybody would agree it's a very nice place. Should be attractive to somebody looking for a call in the area, with one possible exception, which it's also expensive. So you have to kind of balance those two. And that'll be, the call team will have to be good at selling this instead of the property taxes. So who is One Hope Church? I will admit that the elders had a lot of input to us on this. But beliefs were inspired by the Word of God, Holy Trinity, humanity, created in the image, sacraments, baptism, communion are important, powerful. There's one universal Christian church, and grace, we're saved by grace alone, and judgment, Christ will return. So those are kind of our basic core beliefs. We talk about primary, secondary, and tertiary issues. These would be primary issues. Okay, there's not a lot of discussion around this. This is who we are. The secondary issues can be things around like, do you like baptism by immersion, or do you like baptism by sprinkling? It can be, do you want communion once a week or every other week or once a month? I mean, those can be secondary issues, but the primary issues, anybody that we call needs to read this and understand this and believe in this. Values, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to fellowship, and to breaking of the bread and prayer. Biblical authority, authentic community, Christ-centered worship, devotional life. Our distinctives, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this. Multi-denominational. The elders want to talk about multi-denominational versus non-denominational. Okay? Those of us that are sitting here today, and those of us, the 100 or so people that regularly will attend in some way, shape, or form, come from different faith experiences. Okay? Multiple denominations. It's not non-denominational. It's multiple. And the distinction there matters. We were formed basically with what I would call a heavy Lutheran background. And that is still, a major theme. Now, some of those things may be very secondary or tertiary, but it's still our DNA. Non-political, that's the other one that I'm going to focus on. We pride ourselves in being non-political. We don't preach politics from the pulpit. We do not do politics. Honestly, if you look at the life of our congregation, we have people left, right, center, red, blue, purple, whatever you want to call it. We come here to fellowship as Christians. And that's all we are, is Christians. Community involvement, you all know about a community involvement, ecumenical partnerships, mobile church. Nothing here is new, no formal membership. Carrie asked me this morning, when we take a vote, what's a quorum? It's a pretty good question. I said, I don't know, I have to go back. It's either 15% or 30%. By the way, the votes are in for the new elders and the change in the governance. It passed by a resounding margin. Sorry, you guys, you're now elders. Lisa and Mike, have at it. And authentic, real, and unpolished. We're going to come back and touch on that in just a bit, but vision, no grow show. I skipped over that real quickly. Evangelism. A lot of what we do is organic evangelism. We invite people that we know. We welcome people. We're not really out advertising a lot in different manners. We're not really out there in that way. Alpha is a good evangelistic tool, but a lot of it's organic relationships. Small groups, education, children and youth, outreach events, and I could have listed a ton of outreach events. Just a few. Local community, we do a lot to help the local community, particularly through our benevolence, but there's also some fun things. We've got the softball team, we've got dragon boat races, just even going and looking for that little doll when you pick up trash is an outreach type event in the local community. Strengths and weaknesses. Minimal bureaucracy. Volunteers are the backbone. And one of the things when we formed this church, and I guess I personally was very strong on this one, volunteer. We don't want a lot of paid staff. I mean, we have a lot of very talented people that are capable of leading and doing. So let's use them as volunteers. Centrality of Scripture. Generosity, I mentioned that before. We are very generous. If you take everything that we do, I'm going to speak as a treasurer now, 10% benevolence. We have the Go and Do Fund. We also sponsor a number of ministries, whether it's in Peru, whether it's Thrive. We're supporting Mongolian enterprise. We do a lot of things. I think when we stopped and figured it out about a year ago, probably a third of our budget actually goes to other things than One Hope Church itself. Authentic and sincere. And you know, one of the things we always hear from people when they're visiting is they feel the authenticity and sincerity. They feel it. So with that, that's our congregational profile. And that's what we're sharing with all the candidates. And I'd say questions, but we're not going to allow questions because even though we started way late, we want to finish on time. So with that, Carrie? You're not covering the weaknesses? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. I don't know if that was on purpose. I'm sorry. Yes, it was. I'm just trying to stay on communication. We recognize sometimes we're not the best communicators in the world as a church. I love it when people say, well, I didn't know that. Go, well, it was right in the budget presentation. I mean, of course, about 45 people show up for the budget presentation, but we may be too relaxed at times. Yeah. And our demographics are skewed. We already touched on that. And the informal approach can leave members confused at times as to who, what. I mean, who really is leading, who's in charge, who's doing what. I mean, it can be, we're fairly informal. And so if you're coming in here from a formal congregational experience, you can kind of go, do these people know what they're doing? Well, the answer is yes, we know what we're doing. Okay, we like it this way. So with that,